Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Don't pause. Press play. 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 Don't pause. Press play. I wanna hear what you got to say. Press play. Press play. I wanna hear what you got to say. Don't pause, press play. Press play. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Press play. Don't pause. Don't pause. Press play. 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 Don't pause. Press play. I wanna hear what you got to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Overwatch Cavalry Club's Scrim's Gold Division. Today we have a pretty interesting match lined up for us. It's Projekt Proteus versus Void. I'm joined today by Cal. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Excited for the match tonight.
It's always pretty interesting to see these teams play Projekt Proteus. They've been having a little bit of a difficult time as of late, but they have been getting better bit by bit. And Void actually finally lost one of their games just last time we were here last week. Finally lost a game. So, could be a bit of start of a new era, but there is a pretty devastating lineup from Void. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Absolutely, like you said, Void did fall to Titans last week. However, their lineup is still looking solid as ever. They have really big players on their team, including Pika, who came up from the lower Silver Division, has been proving himself very useful in this Gold Division, and Rith, especially on the Sombra, is obviously a huge player for Void, does a lot of work in the back, doing very good with the hacks, communicating the EMPs. So we want to watch out for those two as always. And then whoever plays tanks, they always switch it up for the main tanking, but it's going to be a good matchup, that versus Nathal on Projekt Proteus, who is usually their main tank. So got to keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on Rith. She will get into your backline and EMP you at just the worst moment. And from Projekt Proteus, like I said, we do have some players to keep an eye on. Nathal, always on the Rhine, doing a great job there, and definitely do keep an eye on Danks, another very good tank player there. And we do have the double Helix today, Helix Snake versus Helix the Cat. Always enjoy seeing that matchup, and we're going to be going into our first map now, and it's going to be Busan.
Yeah, especially this mecha base is super useful. A lot of interesting strats you can use, like using Mei or Sombra. Those choke points are super small, so if you're able to get control of the point and get the enemy team killed, stopping them in either one of the choke points is a lot of fun, a lot of different ways you can do it. So we'll see what this team.
You have those, a little bit of a changing landscape as well, that environmental design there right around the point. Those walls come up and down, and using those to your advantage can be pretty difficult, but very, very useful. And there is a little bit of an opportunity for environmental deaths over that edge, but the main thing is these tight corridors, these small doorways that you have to maneuver around. And if you can control these doorways well enough, you can do a lot of work.
Absolutely. A lot of times you see characters come out with classic hit scan characters like they are now. You see on the side of Void, Pika coming out with the Widow. Anything high ground like this have the opening to get those shots off. But speaking of compositions, we'll go ahead and list out Void right now. Starting out with Tribalize on the Projekt as usual. Helix the Cat, another healer with Baptiste. Pika on the Rhine, taking over that main tank. Rith on the Sombra, as she usually is. Sozin on the Reaper as another DPS. And Bale 4 on the Zarya. Opposite side, we got Wolfpack, and Wolfpack is going to be solo DPSing. Sniv and Nithal are going to be the two tanks. Danks, Helix the Cat, and Casual Spec are all going to be with triple heals with a Ana, Baguette, Zen.
I'm not seeing any goats here, and that is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Helix the Cat is able to heal on that bad C2 here. Tribalize is left, manages to get back up and going, thanks to that lamp going up and keeping the side of Void alive. Zika has dropped very, very low and is falling back and waiting for heals. Does fall to Danks, though. Nithal was the first one to lose, so it is still a 5v5. An anti-nade did go through on Void. Sozin has dropped pretty low, but is able to stay alive just long enough. And the point has gone over to Void, sending somebody over there to take care of that. And now it's time to re-engage on top of Projekt. Proteus, Nithal has fallen. No main tank for the side of Projekt. Will Void be able to take this advantage? Looks like Projekt, they're having to be pretty cautious. Danks getting cut out, manages to get the bubble to stay alive, and a rally has come through on Void to get that push forward, and the hammer down. Catches so many, catches all of them, and Sozin following it up with the Death Blossom. Nithal getting charged into the wall, and that is it.
Yeah, great play out there by Void. You see Pika and Sozin just sitting up top, holding the entire team off. Reaper able to put out so much damage and heal himself, letting Rith go and take the point alone, and then flank the enemy team, get some good hacks in, which helped out, obviously, Pika win that Rhine v Rhine battle. And after the Rhine v Rhine battles, won the rest of the season.
Projekt Proteus, they have snuck around behind, going for the back run, and a great hammer down from Nithal is going to allow to get 3 kills there. The lamp is up for Void, but it is not enough. As the Projekt Proteus came all the way around for the backside, and they had enough time to get that rally up, they just absolutely wiped the point.
And we were talking about Nithal's tank play in the beginning of the match. That is exactly why right there. He is such an amazing Reinhardt player. Came in here with his ult, got 3 or 4 down, obviously initiated the push right there with that. After they hit that, it was an easy win for him.
Now, Pika is getting quite a bit of charge. It is sitting at 89% right now, gone up to 95, so that Earth Shatter will be coming up soon. And Nithal is the first one to fall. No shield for the side of Projekt Proteus as they have to fall back. Will they get hit by that Earth Shatter? There is the EMP. Seems like right now they're saving that Projekt Proteus. They're hacked. They're having to fall back. Right now they're just giving up the point. The rally has come through on Void to try and allow them to push forward. Wolfpack has fallen over the edge. Void has reclaimed the point.
Yeah, a little too aggressive a play out there by Nithal. Didn't have the healing to just sit out there and face the Rhine like that with the Reaper shooting in his face. But nonetheless, they are going to be able to regroup. Looks like the ult advantage is in the side of Void, though. You see Pika, smart move by hanging on to his ult that fight. Even though the Reinhardt was down, it was going to be a free ult. Hang on to it, now he has this fight.
Projekt Proteus has used the rally to try and give them that extra beat. They need to go forward, and the hack, and the hammer down from Void is absolutely huge. It did allow them to get 1 kill, and the Trent has come through, and it did allow them to get another one. Sniv is able to keep everybody alive. Wolfpack trying to use the high new Diz, take out Pika, but the application matrix is up on the side of Void, trying to get a little bit of extra damage out. It's pretty even so far. Valve 4 has just take out Danks here, uses the bubble to stay alive, and that is enough.
And great show out there by Void, showing why they're the top of this division right here. Huge team play, great ult usage, especially in the end of that game. They only had to use 2 2 ults to win the first fight, which left him another 4 ults for that final fight, obviously. And if you have a Reinhardt and a Zarya ult, if you guys use them correctly, there's no chance the enemy team is going to stay away for it. So obviously, great job by Void out there getting that win. See if Projekt Proteus maybe can switch it up, maybe get a Pharah or something, some distance damage, not try to fight so up close against this Reaper. See if they can get some damage from distance to beat them.
And looking at these competitions, looks like for the most part it is going to be staying around with what we have. So looking at this, seems like it's going to be pretty much what we saw last time. We'll see if Projekt Proteus can step this up and try and put out maybe a little bit more damage. Wolfpack has a lot on their shoulders. Be putting out that much damage. A lot of fighting right here by the drum as both teams are just trying to dish it out. Void is dropping pretty low, and Rith is the first to fall. Nathal wanting to push forward now, taking the aggression forward. There's a charge, does come through and does connect onto Nathal and does fall. No main tank now for either team as Tika is the next. And now it looks like it is just a team wipe for Projekt Proteus here.
Yeah, great job of Projekt Proteus. I feel like on paper the composition actually does win out. They do have a lot more sustain with the triple heals. Obviously that Reaper is doing a ton of damage up close and healing himself, especially with the Sagrith on the Sombra, getting the correct hacks in to get the team beat. Though if they're smart, they should be able to beat the enemy team. Reaper can't do much against this tanky of a comp, actually. He just can't get close enough and do enough damage to get a kill before he's killed himself.
The hammer down goes straight into the shield, and it does not connect. But Projekt Proteus kept alive by that rally. Means that charge against Nathal did nothing. Nanoboost is straight afterwards, and now pushing in to the remains of Void. 2 of them are able to get away.
Yeah, Projekt Proteus doing a really good job of playing correctly, playing to the strengths of their comp, staying together, using this group heal, the Baguette, to really help out, do a lot of the damage the Baguette is now doing. So I think Projekt Proteus has a nice, comfortable take here. Void is really going to need to switch up their comp to help to take this position more than just once with this maybe Earth Shatter.
They're dedicating the rally to it, getting that little bit of extra beef forward. Nathal is dropping pretty low, but is able to block most of that Earth Shatter from Tika. And this is looking pretty close. 2 of Projekt Proteus have fallen, but will they be able to turn this around with Sozin down? Stakes may just be able to put out the damage needed, but it doesn't look like it. 2 more on Projekt Proteus fall, and the point does change hands.
Yeah, good job. Good use of the Earth Shatter, digging enough down to get a few kills, and also force Nathal to try to charge in there to try to stop him from doing damage, which ended up killing Nathal in the process. And again, once that Reinhardt's down, the main tank is such a crucial part of the team comp in this position. But here we go, another fight as Projekt Proteus needs to gather up their ults to win the fight, because right now, Void is doing a really good job. This EMP is going to be a big ult for them, the Death Blossom combo.
Time for the EMP, there it is! But the Transcendence comes out just in time! It's doing so much tanking, able to keep people alive, but it doesn't last long enough to protect them from the Death Blossom, and they do fall.
Yeah, I saw that one coming. They had 3 ults online. Can't do much against that. Projekt Proteus needs just to regroup, gather their ults, and then win the fight here with the comp they have.
They do now have 4 ults available for them, so this could be a very good fight if they use those effectively. Rith now getting a little bit of scouting information onto the front. Does not have the EMP, won't be getting it anytime soon. Trying to just create chaos in the backline. Does use the Translocator to get away, and now it's time for the fight. Nathal wants to take that front line, trying to get up in there, and gets a great grab, catching 3 for the Coalescence from Helix Academy, able to keep everybody alive, but a hammer down from both sides. It seems like, for the most part, everybody is still on their feet, though, and it's the first main tank to fall, followed up by Helix. Snake, this is not looking good for Projekt Proteus as another one falls, and Void is able to push forward. Wolfpack trying to get a little bit of damage out to stay alive, but does catch the tail end of that submachine gun and does fall for just rounding 90%. And now Projekt Proteus is going to have to make a move. Tika is slept. This could be exactly what they need. The charge has come in, but Bubble just in time. Tika is able to stay alive, and Nathal has been hacked. will be falling shortly. No, not enough heals to come out. 99% though, Project Proteus is on the point, but the EMP says they might not be on there for long. Another one has fallen to the Graviton Surge to catch the rest there. The Transcendence to keep everybody alive, though. This could be what they need. Valivor has fallen, and that is a lot of damage missing. The hammer down, knocks down the rest of Project Proteus. Difficult tries to get onto the point, but gets hacked and charged into the wall, and that is it. The first map goes to Void.
Great job by Void. Definitely was the disadvantage of that second fight. Good job by the Moira on Helix the Cat. Great job keeping the team alive to that Zarya ult, especially the Reinhardt, who can focus pretty hard. However, just not hard enough. I think obviously Project Proteus need a little bit more focus in that final fight to get a kill, because they did hit a hammer, they did hit a grab, but just no one died. Everyone was kind of shooting at their own targets, and the healers were able to keep them up with all that AoE healing. Nonetheless, Project Proteus can pull it together. I think they have the right idea, and it's going to be a close game for sure.
That is something when you only have one DPS. You definitely need to be very coordinated with that DPS. You have less damage, so you have to make sure that it is very concentrated in order to get through those large health pools of the enemy, especially a team like Void here. But a very good first match and a lot of really close fights. And we're going to be getting into our next game pretty soon. But overall, definitely a really great first match.
Oh, super close, absolutely. Project Proteus has definitely got the right idea. They got the right usage, got the right ult, they got the right comp for Void to face against them. The CC against this Sombra is going to be huge. The CC against this Reaper is going to be huge. Obviously, with Projekt and McCree on the field, they just need to make sure to keep an eye out for it. Honestly, just make sure to focus those two targets, especially in the beginning of fights. And if not, then focus down this Reinhardt, because they have the sustain to win these brawls.
And I did like seeing Danks playing that Zenyatta. Did a lot of great work, especially right at the end. That is definitely their linchpin for countering the Sombra. If you can time it just right, if you see it coming, you can get that Transcendence out and keep your team alive. Sadly, there was another ultimate just waiting to go out as soon as the Transcendence was down, and that Death Blossom ended up wrapping up the team. But it seems like Project Proteus is figuring out how to deal with that Sombra, which is incredibly important when playing against Void.
Yeah, and obviously Rith is such a good Sombra. She's not a normal Sombra. She's very good about not getting caught out, staying away from the CC characters like McCree and Projekt. So did a very good job there of obviously hacking the shield characters. Getting a hack on Orion is just so huge, because it's a few seconds for the entire fight. You don't have a shield, any sort of defensive measures. So very, very smart Sombra play, and it's hard to play against. So Project Proteus is doing their best, and I think they're doing a darn good job.
Yeah, and like I said, they have been having a little bit of a rough time, but they definitely do seem to be improving as they're really starting to come into their own and getting solid strategies down to deal with things. That has been a little bit of a problem for them before, as they haven't really been able to adapt to what they need to, but it seems like they're really starting to nail down what really needs to happen here, especially against Void. You need to have something to deal with that storm. It seems like they're figuring that out. And so we're going to be going into our second map of the day, and it's going to be Dorado.
Yep, Dorado going to be a full escort map, so the objective is obviously for one team to push the escort for 2 different checkpoints all the way to the end, the final 3rd checkpoint, before time expires, with each checkpoint giving you an extra bit of time. A lot of different strategies you can see on these points. One of my favorites is obviously a thing called the Pirate Ship, in which you run the Bastion and an Orisa or a Reinhardt to set up a shield, and you pretty much just plop your Bastion right there on the point and let it move you around the field while you shield it from any incoming damage. A lot of fun to see. Obviously, if Rith is in the field, you're probably going to see the Sombra, which a lot of different back alleys for the Sombra can take, and go around the right side of the field, go a translocator up over the wall, and get in the back line, obviously. A lot of different ways that they can go. So we'll see what Void comes out with. I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'd definitely say be pretty risky running a Bastion composition against Void because of Rith on the Sombra. It absolutely tear through that once the EMP is up, and if you get a good hack onto the shield tank. Looking at Project Proteus' defense here looks like they're running the exact same comp that they were running last time, which was working pretty well for them, so could be working here. And then let's look a little bit at this offense.
Yeah, with this offense coming out, Pika going back to his roots with his Genji. He's a great Genji player. He played in the lower division, so excited to see him back on it. Helix Cat with the Ana, so obviously Nano Blades are in play. Always fun to watch those. Sozin going over to the Zen, a little bit of distance, a little bit extra damage with the Orbs. And Baleful sitting on the Zarya with Tribal Eyes on the Monkey. Not a usual combo with Zarya Monkey, however, she can get some good charge by bubbling him as he jumps in like that.
And speaking of jumping in, there they go. Trouble. The enemy does have to fall back, though, after dropping pretty low, but is now getting healing to get back into the fight. And the payload has moved forward just through this checkpoint, and that's pretty huge. Getting it past that area is very, very important. And that is a pretty big anti-nade onto Projekt Proteus, and now they are falling. Rith trying to get into that backline, does have the translocator to get away, and one by one Projekt Proteus falls, and Void is able to push that payload forward.
Yeah, I gotta give credit, I think, to Tribal Eyes right there. Going up there and disrupting the enemy team while the other 4 members stayed on payload and moved it quickly through that choke. Obviously, looking at Projekt Proteus's comp, you want to fight in that choke. You want to brawl right there where you really had no other choice but to get close. And Void just completely bypassed the entire fight by pushing payload the entire time. So a little bit of drop ball on the side of Projekt Proteus.
Nithal on that front line having to get healings up is hacked, though. Has to fall back and get a lot of healing. The bubble does help them stay alive. Tribalize and trying to get on his back, and there is the drag away from Pika along with the Primal Rage. That is 4 down already in the blink of an eye. It's just Sniv left, who is trying to get away but cannot escape the monkey.
Yeah, obviously, man, Void just running over right here with this kind of old school dive comp almost with the Genji and the Monkey on the same thing, just going really far in there. Sombra can backline as well. But just great job on Void, getting these kills, use the DPS to their advantage, these quick burst damage characters. Really doing a good job.
And speaking of the Sombra, that EMP is up. Saul Boosted does get a hammer down, catching 2, and that does allow for 2 kills to go through. Rith is down, will not have that EMP. The Transcendence has, because they were trying to keep this team alive. Tribalize was anti-nated, though, and has to fall back. It's just Helix the Cat and Pika left on that bottom line, and Pika is trying to get away. Has dropped pretty low, does get picked out.
And now Projekt Proteus can take a breath, maybe get situated. Obviously, the snowball is over. I would like to see Helix Snake keep her ult right there as the Baguette. I think the fight was already over when they used it, but nonetheless, it's not a big deal. They're getting up quick. They still have Danks for defensive ult against Valefor's Zarya's gravitational pull, so we'll see how this.
And now it's time for another fight as Projekt Proteus has to defend from Tribalize, jumping right into the middle. Rith is in the back waiting for the EMP. There it is! They're going to be catching every single member except for Danks, who's able to use that Transcendence to keep everybody alive through the nano-boosted Genji Blade. That was absolutely huge. It's just Nithal who has fallen so far. Danks has fallen now, but since Pika is down, Projekt Proteus does have a chance to turn the drum, but it seems like they have been split in 2 by Tribalize, especially, who's able to just keep one side of Projekt Proteus completely preoccupied, and it allows for the rest of Void to just push the payload forward and take the point. Nithal does fall, and that is the second checkpoint gotten.
Oh man, I thought that Projekt Proteus was going to be able to survive after that amazing Danks ult. Great timing, great use of it, seeing the Zarya ult and the Genji with the Nano Blade almost saved the team from 3 ults. Unfortunately, Monkey coming in there and just pushing everyone away kind of disrupts them. They weren't able to recover quick enough, and Void was able to clean up the kills.
A lot of great teamwork coming from Void. Having that communication to split the enemy team in half works really well for them. Nithal has Banana Boost and does get the Earth Shatter, does catch 2, and Rith has fallen in the back line. But Tribalize 116 going, a Graviton Surge does go on to Void to try and take them out, but the Transcendence is able to keep everybody alive. And now Nithal has a fallen. Tribalize with Nano Boost and getting out that extra damage. Has to fight against Helix Snake. Theodore wins a 1v1. A Brigitte as a Winston, but it does not matter. Graviton Surge catches 3 members of Projekt Proteus, and you see You see Traveleye just getting right on top of them. The high noon was, Purple Effect was able to do so much, but it is not enough, and the Dragons have come in now to just wall that whole area off. It's just Nithal who does put the hammer down and does get a kill on to Pika, and it's just these two tanks drawing it out, but Tribalize has to fall back. His team does not have the respawn advantage.
No, they don't. Obviously, Pika might have wasted his ult right there using the Hanzo ult, but nonetheless did get a kill with it. Thought maybe he was able to get 2 with it and try to finish the point themselves. Monkey there. It didn't work out. Nithal also wasted his ult on a solo kill with the Hanzo, so good trade on that part. You see Void, though, just has to recover. I think on the side of teamwork, though, Void does definitely have the advantage. They seem to be using their ults together better. They seem to be just going in together a little better. You saw Nithal hammered down at the beginning last fight. Got 3, but just didn't have the follow-up to get the kills. But you see that.
Nithal is nano boosted and wants to get in. Void keeping their distance, making sure to stay away from that sweeping hammer. Doing a good job of it. Now Project Proteus has used the rally to try and close the distance and get that extra health they need. And Void continuing to fall back, giving them space and waiting for the right moment to go in. Rith is at the top trying to get some hacks. Does get a hack on to Nithal. Rith does have the EMP as well, waiting for the right moment to use that. And now it is the Primal Rage, nano boosted, ready to put out some extra damage. And Pika with a double kill, doing great work to try and turn this around for them. But Tribalize has fallen pretty low, but the bubble and the heals is able to keep them alive as they now are on the point, starting to push it forward inch by inch. And Danks getting caught out in that back line does fall. And we're coming right down to the end. And there is another set of dragons to wall off the team. And that is all the way to the end.
And great tank play right there at a Tribalize, playing as a monkey, going against Reinhardt. Just using advantage of the fact that Tesla Cannon goes through shields. Just kept a perfect distance from the Rhine, so he couldn't get swung on, but kept on doing damage. Just sort of trickled him down. It was really hard for Nithal to stay on point with just all that incoming damage, but even with shield up. So we'll see how Project Proteus switches. Maybe even get off the Reinhardt, maybe go solo tank, get a Reaper in play, maybe to deal with this Winston or McCurry, something that can stun him when he dives in. But Tribalize is causing a lot of disruption right now with this monkey. So the Project Proteus is going to need to answer it somehow.
And Project Proteus will see what their strategy is for this offense pretty soon in just a little bit. And we're going to be looking at Void, seeing what they're going to be running on this defense. As usual, the one I like to focus on first, because chances are that's what they're actually going to go. And this is pretty interesting. Pika on the Orisa as the main tank, and we're also going to be seeing Valifor on the Ashe instead of the Zarya, and instead it's going to be Sozin on that Diva.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about Void is how often they switch up their comps with who plays what. You see sometimes they're playing tank, sometimes they're playing DPS. They switch it up. Balfour obviously has always been a Zarya player lately, but you see him switching up to this real heavy hit scan in Ashe. So we'll see how that switches over. Obviously tracking versus hit scan, but nonetheless, I'm excited to see it. Rith obviously staying on her classic Sombra, which we love to see. No complaints there out of me.
And it's time for the fight. Looking at Project Proteus this time. This round, it's all hacked straight away. Hopefully that's not a precursor for the entire match. Sozin on that high ground trying to just own that whole area. Make sure nobody can take that. Does now fall back to the team sitting behind that sturdy Orisa shield. But the Orisa shield actually misses the edge, and that does open up the team a little bit. Rith does fall in the back line. They've got a little bit too close to that brig. And you never want to underestimate Robot Gandhi. Will absolutely tear you apart. Now Tribalize wants to get onto that front line. Nithal does charge into the wall thanks to a good halt from Pika. That shield isn't really protecting anybody. It's just so far kind of protecting Pika. It seems like the team is mostly paying for that, but they are doing a good job of putting that damage out. Helix Snake trying to close the distance is hacked though. This is the time you want to take out that Reaper, but it was enough to take out Pika, and they could not take out Helix Snake in return. Like one by one, Void is falling, and they have to give a little bit of ground here, as it's really just 4 of them in this area. And Ashe is able to put out quite a bit of damage though, and now Helix the Cat is able to put out a little bit of shield. As Project Proteus slowly pushes forward, Nithal is nano boosted and wants to close that distance, get on there, and gets a great charge on the Peak of the Fortify. Must not have been available, and does follow up with a second kill. This should be the first checkpoint confirmed for them as they clean up the rest of Void. Void just scattering to the corners, and that is it.
Yeah, great job, Project Proteus. Taking advantage, obviously, of Pika being out of position in that first fight. You mentioned he came down, just wasn't holding choke, was holding behind it, sort of in the corner, protecting himself like he would a ult. But nonetheless, they just got to regroup. Pika switching over, obviously, off of the Orisa, back onto the Reinhardt, something he's a little bit more comfortable with. So now it's a more classic Ryan v Ryan battle.
The Orisa is a pretty difficult one to use because you had to manipulate that stationary shield very well. And a great hammer down Pika's shield. Someone did not stay up through that, but the sound barrier to keep everybody alive. Rith able to pick up a double kill. And it seems like Void is able to turn this around. Great recovery from that hammer down. Able to absolutely turn that fight around.
Yeah, huge play out of Tribalize. So impressive in this match, both on his Winston and now on his Lucio. Huge counterplay right there, using his ult to keep his team alive, while Raikou was not obviously caught in the shatter, was able to get behind, get 2 quick kills while everyone's distracted. Great play out of Void, again, just showing their teamwork and their comms obviously are top-notch right now.
Bob has been deployed, and Project Proteus just getting out of the line of sight, falling back, giving ground, making sure to keep Void at an arm's length, but Valifor has a long reach and is able to take out Wolfpack.
Yeah, smart player, Project Proteus right there. Obviously, Bob incoming. He's a very high damage character, and he has perfect aim. If you can stay out of his sight, it's best too, unless you can sleep him or kill him really quickly. So great job, Project Proteus. Just let him run out real quick. Go back in.
And now it's for another fight. But no, the hack comes through, but Dangs is able to stay out of it and keep the team alive. Is Chargers able to get right back to the team. A nuke is coming through that looks pretty good, and it catches a 3. Good nuke from Sozin is going to absolutely open up Project Proteus like a ripe oyster, and they are able to crack it open and get it through. Once again, sent back through the spot.
Another huge ult out of Dangs, doing so good on this Zan, keeping his team alive in these really dicey situations. Unfortunately, Void is just doing a great job of building ults and having more than one team kill ult. You saw Sozin with a huge D.Va bomb to stop that fight. Void, again, just doing a great job. Ult advantage is what this game is all about, it seems like. Though it comes ult advantage, Project Proteus obviously has.
And it looks like it's time for another fight. Pika is slept and straight charged into a wall, but is able to stay alive for a little bit. Does while he again not able to put out quite enough healing. Has used the coalescence and wasn't able to really do a whole lot with it because of that. Project Proteus, they want to push forward. They know that ult is down, but Bob is charging right back into the fight. Just dumping a lot of damage into that shield. Big Snake trying to put out damage into Bob. Does take that Butler out. Rith is in the back line, getting jumped on by Wolfpack, able to get that recall out. And Sniv wants to take that front line for Project Proteus. They had to fall back yet again.
Yeah, see, Project Proteus seems to be holding on to their ults for some reason. I'm not sure they're just waiting for better times. They're trying to bait out Tribalize ult. Helix the Cat, good use of it. Great two-person right there, so maybe not. Maybe that's what the
Classic jump from above to get those 2 kills. And now Project Proteus looks like they're able to use that to move forward. That was a pretty risky move, doing that into an enemy team, not knowing if you're going to get hacked or not. And the great Graviton Surge is going to open up the Earth Shatter for Naval and get 2 kills. Another nuke coming through. Will they be able to stop it? Sozin does pick up a quick 2 kills. This is not pretty difficult for Project Proteus as they have to deal with these fast respawn times coming from Void. Sozin has been knocked out of the mech. Is going to be falling short to the afterwards. Helix Snake able to put out quite a bit of damage right in that area. Pika swapped over to the Hammond, ready to get that extra CC and those good knockouts. Does have to fall back though after dropping to half health. It seems like Project Proteus is controlling this space really well, and they're able to push all the way up to the point. Pika trying one last time to get onto it, but doesn't quite manage to.
Yeah, hard to find an angle there as Hammond to really get onto the point. I think it was a last-ditch effort. We're probably going to see him switch back over to the Ryan, I'm guessing, or over to the Orisa like he does. Get a shield tank in here, bunker down a little bit, take advantage of having your Veil 4, trying to hit their shots a little bit, but Helix Snake doing a great job flanking, taking out the sniper.
Getting up onto that high ground, and now Duke caught inside of the Graviton Surge. The lamp did keep him alive for a little bit, and the ball has bombed. He was swapped over to the Orisa. Trying to use that stationary shield and that range damage to deal with Project Proteus here. And now that is no main tank. And Helix Snake is down. There's a lot of close range DPS that is not able to do it. Wolfpack was halted and brought right back into the line of fire. And the rest of Project Proteus has to fall back.
Yeah, you saw Rith, obviously, classic ults, both classic hacks, both with the Reaper hacked and Baguette hacked, just easy kill on those targets. So Helix Snake, I think, would probably even use his ult, maybe switch off. It's not a bad choice against this Orisa. Obviously, a super slow character to get up close and personal. It's really hard to do anything against. But Sombra, very good against Reaper, so we'll see how.
Valor up on that high ground, is able to get a quick kill on the casual upsec, and then send Bob to the back line. Able to put out a lot of damage, is able to catch out Sniff before Jenks' Transcendence comes through to keep them alive. Wolfpack trying to stall out Bob for a little bit, but the EMP from Rick, but this is just going to continue, and a noob does catch Helix Snake. Nithal is already down, and the amplification making went up, but Project Proteus has already fallen. Just 30 seconds left.
Yeah, huge use of the EMP bomb right there, just putting them back, forcing them into the tunnel with the EMP already on them. Easy kills to finish it up, and they're just funneled in like that. So it's going to be a really hard fight. Project Proteus only has one ult to work with the Reaper. It's going to be a super tough fight. They're going to need a miracle to pull this one out.
Sniv hacked a little bit before that fight, would it give Rith a little bit of an extra charge there. Now Project Proteus, they had to get off to this point. Wolfpack has fallen. Valor doing a great job getting up onto that top one, or getting up onto the high ground, and Helix Snake tried to get up there to contest it, didn't have to fall back. There is the ultimate coming through. Does get the ultimate, does get the bongo down, but does fall to Rith, and it seems like the rest of Project Proteus is going to fall into the respawn screen. That is going to be it. Second map going to Void.
Yeah, dominant showing out of Void right there. Great ult economy, really held on to ults really well, really used them in succession very well. Veil 4 also on fire with the Ashe a few times. Just got quick kills in the beginning of fights, and as a sniper, that's the best thing you can do is start a fight at an advantage like that. So great job with Veil 4 on sniper. We don't see it very often, lucky to see it some more. And good job obviously out of Pika with this huge blade right here, getting a triple kill with Monkey in with him.
Absolutely great plays from both sides. I really like seeing those transcendences from Danks, but it seems like Void was able to deal with them very, very well. Every time one came through, they always had an ultimate to just bait out that transcendence, and as soon as it ended, able to use those and just follow up so well. But now, guys, it is time for the halftime show. So we have a little bit of a video presentation for you, and enjoy it. We are going to be right back for the third map of today.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Do something!
NANI?
Fire at will! Heroes never die.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, 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 faster.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
Happy feet. One more combo. That ain't Falco. That ain't Falco. Oh! I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Look at Ares.
The world could always use more heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to O.C.C. Scrim's Gold Division Project Proteus versus Void. It's been a pretty crazy day so far. Very, very close first match on Busan. Project Proteus not quite able to take any, not quite take any points. Ended up losing 2-0, and Dorado Void had an absolutely massive showing, ending the game in round 2. I'm joined today by Cal. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, super exciting matches. Very good play out of Void, like we're used to seeing. Project Proteus doing a great job of countering some of their moves, but obviously need a few more changes to pull out a win.
And it looks like they are going to have one change. They're going to be bringing in their sub. Damon is going to be coming in for Nethal. Now, I don't think I have seen Damon play, but looking at their career profile, seems to be a bit of a flex player, focusing mostly on Reinhardt, but playing a good deal of May and Reaper as well. So could be pretty interesting to see how that works out. So Void, they just have to win this next match, and they do take away the day. But we are still going to have the fourth match, regardless, just to count up the points, because that is what we need for the playoffs. So we're going to be getting in very soon. Looks like both teams are ready. We just have to set up the rest of that. So more specifically, what do you think Project Proteus needs to do in order to take out this Void?
Well, we'll see what happens with this Damien switch. Looks like it does play a lot of Ryan, like you said. And even though Nethal also plays Ryan, a lot of times it's not who's the better Ryan. it's just that different. That switch sometimes will mess up the enemy team. It's just a different play style. Pika might not be used to, obviously. Damien might have the advantage with his play style versus their Ryan. It's a very rock, paper, scissors game when it comes to Ryan v. Ryan, that battle. So we'll see if this switch helps him out at all. Maybe he's a little more aggressive, a little more conservative, and that'll help. And we'll see what goes on there. Dank's doing a great job, though, on the Zan. He needs to keep up his level of play because he's really doing a lot of work with his ultimates and hitting his shots on his right clicks to take out some early kills.
And it is also a lot easier to play Ryan when you have a star Sombra player on your team. And of course, that is Rith. She's always a massive with the EMPs and has been doing great works. Also, just the individual hacks usually do a great job as well, taking out key targets and calling them out. And Void is doing a good job getting on top of those in order to take them out and overall just perform very, very well. Right now we're getting the final map choice. Looks like it's probably going to be King's Row. Yep, so we are going to be going into that pretty soon here. And I do always like King's Row. Lots of really long sight lines and narrow choke points there.
Absolutely, especially on the first point attack. It's great to see a Widow. You have that really good sniper spot in the beginning, both on the theater and just in your own spawn pretty much. So it's a lot of fun to see Widow in the beginning. Mei is a good comp here in defense. That choke point is really small. Any character that can't jump or can't fly is going to have to go to that choke point, and the Mei wall can perfectly wall it off. So a lot of fun to see that. We are seem to be missing a player or something. Maybe just getting set up here. Just have not enough players on the top. We'll see what's going to go on with that. Maybe a little problem on.
I think Helix the Cat will take you a little bit to choose. Just loading in takes a little bit to load in sometimes. You know how hard this drive like that. And there we go. Everybody is in. We're going to be looking at these teams pretty soon. And what do you think we're going to see offense versus defense here?
Okay, so like I was saying again, Mei, a great choice here because of a wall. Perfectly fits into this choke point. Symmetra is a great choice. A lot of places to put your turrets at as the enemy team comes in. As for attack, Pharah is always good. Genji works very well, so they can climb over the wall and attack from an angle and get back. So a lot of different options. Goats is also very strong in this map. It's one of the maps that still uses Goats quite often, just because of how quickly you guys can turn a corner and start a fight with a Brawl v Brawl comp. So a lot of different choices we come out with. Obviously, we'll take a look at the defense first, which is going to be Project Proteus. Wolfpack is going to be sitting on the McCree, so as we were saying, take use of those sight lines. Helix Snake is going to be on the Reaper. Snib and Damien are going to be Zarya and Reinhardt respectively, with Casual Spec and Danks with taking over the heals. Just kind of a classic comp right here. 2-2-2 with the Ryan and Zarya. I like to see it. Hopefully it works for him.
This is going to be pretty interesting to see how this works out. Do like seeing Travelers on the Lucio, always fun to see. Going to be they are running that triple support, but they are running only one DPS and 2 tanks. So this is just a little bit of a modified 2-2-2 instead of 2-3-1. And now it's time for a little bit of pushing in. Seems like Damon takes a lot of damage and taken out straight away. That is going to be pretty big for Void as they are now looking for Casual. Obsec is caught out a little bit stunned, able to get away though, and it's going to be Sozin that falls. Did not respect the anti-nade, not able to get healing. Couldn't keep that shield up and does fall. But I don't know how to be able to retake the point. Doesn't look like it as we are getting past the second tick. Damon wants to get on there, but is not able to get on there. Helix Snake is able to though. Damon is now nano boosted. This may be just what they need. Trying to retake the point here. Sozin comes in, gets a good charge off. He's trying to retake the point. Casual Obsec has to be on there to try and hold on to it. Now it is Wolfpack, and the baton passes off to Sniv, but they will not be able to hold it. Has to fall back, and the point is taken.
Yeah, great job on the side of Void, obviously taking that point, just using the advantage to push the enemy team through the choke, so they would actually turn into the defending team. It's a lot easier to defend on this point, especially when you have a choke advantage like that. And Pika doing a great job of taking advantage of that sight line, that high ground, and the Widow in the beginning to push the team back, and then switch over to the Genji, which is obviously more comfortable on. to try to finish them off and get in the fight a little quicker.
Now we see Void wanting to take a pretty aggressive stance. They're pushing all the way up and just leaving one person on the point with casual offset down though. This is a 5v5. The hammer down does come through. Sozin is able to block most of it in the high noon there. Does catch 2 from Wolfpack. Great ult there. And is able to start turning this fight around for Project Proteus. And Valve back to the rest of the team. Able to get back there and able to stay alive so far and get back behind that cover.
Yeah, McCree ult is not a super useful ult at the moment in the game. He stands very still, it's very slow. But nonetheless, great job Wolfpack, great patience to wait for the Rhine Shield to be down, get 2 quick kills with it, stay alive himself. Good job on his.
Now it's time for another fight. Pika has used the blade, but instantly falls. And the Transcendence is able to keep many people alive. But the hammer down falling up shortly afterwards is going to be enough for Void to keep the aggression going in this fight. Sozin has that voice line while laying on the ground. A little bit of an odd thing there for someone who is just prone to say, but able to win the fight and push this payload forward.
Yeah, huge shatter out of Sozin. Great use of the ultimates, obviously. Like I said, Void taking advantage of just the small ultimates they have when they have the ult advantage. That hammer down, if you can get 3 people with the hammer down, the team follows up. It's obviously a quick kill for you, a quick win for your team. But Danks with a nice kill on Pika, obviously in the Tracer, they might be able to contest this, and it's a huge advantage for Project Proteus if they can get it contested.
And there is the double Graviton surge. Well, Danks using that Transcendence to maybe exactly what they need. The hammer down has come through from Damon. Does catch Tribalize and one more. Just trying to take out Tribalize, trying to get away. Does fall, and it seems like they're able to hold on to this point by a thread.
Another big play out of Danks, like I said, taking out that Tracer just sort of gave their team the confidence to go in there. They knew they were going to be up a man, and it's that close to the checkpoint. Obviously switches the spawn advantage back over to the defending team. So I think Project Proteus actually does have the spawn advantage at the moment, which is a super crucial part of this map with only 2.5 minutes remaining. There's not many fights left.
And here is the rally to try and get Void through here and get this last stretch. Both main tanks have fallen. That is not a lot of shields on the point, and whichever team uses their abilities and their upcoming ultimates to their advantage may be just the one that takes this. Balfour has been nano boosted. It's going to be putting out a lot of extra damage, and it looks like they will be able to take the checkpoint.
Yeah, he leaves the cat. Great job of healing right there on the Ana. Really charging up his ult really quickly, using it to a disadvantage. You saw right there, obviously, down a main tank. It was a great time. Use what ult you have. Try to get this final point while you don't have ult advantage. And then just build them back up for the next.
And now, Project Proteus are looking for an opportunity to move forward. Danks with a great kill on Pika. Never underestimate that Zenyatta can put out a ton of damage, especially against the Widowmaker. And now it's time to push forward. Damon with the hammer down, doesn't seem to catch anybody. Is nano boosted. Healing Snake using the Death Blossom, doesn't seem to quite connect, but it is enough to help take out Sozin. But Healing Snake has fallen. A great anti-nade on to Void is allowing Project Proteus to move up a little bit. Isn't quite enough to take out any more members, but have pushed the enemy team all the way back. But Project Proteus, they're not giving up. They're staying very aggressive too as they get one more kill on Pika for a good stagger.
Yeah, huge stagger right there. Obviously, I see Project Proteus use 2 big ults for the Death Blossom and the Rhine Shatter. Neither one doing a whole lot, but they were able to push the team back and get an enemy reset, which pretty much is what you were trying for with the ults. So a good enough job by the part. And obviously the kill on Pika.
There is a hammer down by the Transcendence there to keep everybody alive. Danks with another great Transcendence, and is going to allow Damon to get a follow-up Earth Shatter and absolutely wipe Void.
Yeah, you see Project Proteus obviously using ults a little bit better there in that fight. Danks, another great ult, keeping his team alive. Ana with the huge nade onto her team to get that extra bit of healing in. And then Damien, after the entire fight was over, using his hammer down to sort of close it out.
Now there are the Dragons. Seems to miss though, but Damon is walled off by him a little bit. Boy, they want to engage on that, but Damon able to stay back a little bit, almost falls over the edge. No, does fall over the edge, and that is a pretty big pick there. Great play by Sozin, able to get that boop. And now starting to push upward. Maybe it was Tribalize that got it, and they are taking out Project Proteus one by one. Brit securing that high ground as well. And that is going to be a very great play for them, as Helix Snake is the last one to fall. A huge dagger. David getting right up into the middle of it, has to keep that shield up for heals. And there is a high noon, does take out Rith. This could be what they need to start pushing forward. Now, they have to defend this very last stretch, a minute and 13 seconds left. That's a lot of time, but if they can win this fight, they could have exactly what they need. The Dragons have come through, and it does take out Casual Obsec. That is a lot of healing missing. And with Snip down as well, that's a lot of damage. There is Danks with the Transcendence. Will it be enough? So he's been caught by the Earth Shatter, and then Helix Snake with a huge Death Blossom is going to help turn this around. And Helix the Cat and Pika falling. That is exactly what Project Proteus needs.
You see Sombra right here, is invisible, sitting in the back. Great play by O.C.C right there to push back, obviously, the stop. They were obviously getting halted. You saw Pika's ult didn't hit anyone, but it did split up enough. They recognized that Damien was going to need to take that path back, and obviously to his advantage, knocked him into.
Wait for that EMP. Rith in the back, waiting for just the right moment when Project Proteus groups up, and there it is, going to be catching 4 members, and that is going to be exactly what Void wants to start pushing forward. Danks hacked as well, has to fall way back, can't do any healing, but is enough to take out Rith. Casual Offset falling very low, but is able to get the Harmony Orb on there. 3 members caught inside of the Graviton, able to stay alive though. There is the nuke coming in. It doesn't catch anybody and gives Sniv a lot of charge, able to put out a lot of damage, but now caught inside of Graviton, search Project Proteus, they have to stay alive. Thanks, he has the Transcendence just in time to bring that out. That is a lot of healing. Will they be able to hold on to this point? No, David over the edge while using the ultimate. No, actually it was Pika that was using the ultimate, fell, and Wolfpack with a great high noon with a triple kill is going to secure round 1.
Great high noon, and I just gotta say, great play out of Danks, obviously, in the beginning. His team was down, they were EMP'd. Danks coming up with a huge clutch double kill, just channeling his inner J Jonak. He's doing an amazing job with Zen today on the offensive damage side and on the Transcendence side. Just amazing ults, great plays with his aiming too.
Yeah, Dangs has been absolutely popping off today on the Zenyatta. And especially this match, really getting the hang of it and using those Transcendences at just the right time.
But great use of Void, taking out Damon twice in a row, getting rid of that by environmental kill. Once with the Diva pushing him in, the other second time with the Lucio pushing him in. Anytime you can kill a main tank or an off tank, anything large HP character with an environmental kill like that, it's so crucial. I mean, you're not using a lot of your abilities, you're charging your ultimate very fast. So great job there out of O.C.C and Tribalize to recognize the environment and use it to their advantage.
An easy way to one-shot any hero. Some of the best abilities in the game, but you have to be creative and smart to use them. And let's take a look at these compositions. One thing is pretty interesting. We are going to be seeing O.C.C on the Junkrat.
Yeah, great choice. I'd like to see Junkrat here. Obviously, that small little choke is great. If the team is foolish enough to follow you into the hotel as Junkrat and they're just dead on arrival because there's just so many bombs incoming to that. So we'll see how O.C.C uses it. I think it could really work for them. The enemy team is pretty slow. They do have the Zarya though, which obviously could take advantage of Junkrat to get that high charge quickly.
I actually really liked Project Proteus. They were putting out a bunch of damage right at the beginning, trying to catch out Rith. Helix Snake dropping to just 1 HP, able to get healed up though. It does stun out Rith, who has to use that recall to get back to safety. And they're trying to get that front line going. Helix Snake right in the front with that brick, swinging that mace around. And it seems like Void, they're falling back to the point, trying to draw Project Proteus through this choke point. There is Pika trying to get a little bit of extra ult charge, is sitting at 46%. Damon catching up to that as well. But Damon getting right up in the front, not able to get any healing thanks to the anti-nade, and does fall straight away. Maybe a little bit too aggressive there. Val 4 able to take out Helix Snake as well. And that is Project Proteus. They had to fall back and wait for respawns.
Yeah, they do have to wait for respawns. As you can see, though, Sniv is nice and charged up, taking advantage of Junkrat, like we said, staying at high charge, has the Ana killing him up. Hopefully, if he can get his shots on target, he can really melt down the target quickly and start this fight out with it.
Now, that Zarya is able to output a lot of damage, but Damon falling again. again. Void is doing a great job of dealing with this new main tank. Tribalize able to get back behind the shield while stunned. Great job there. And Project Proteus, they have the way for their main tank.
Yeah, Damon's getting taken out very quickly in this fight. I don't know if it's because of the anti-nades that are coming in, or just the great focus that Void's having, but they're going to need Damien in the fight, obviously, to take this point. The shield is so
It looks like they have him now. Pushing forward is nano boosted, but there is an EMP. It catches literally every member on Project Proteus and hammered down shortly after the classic combo from Void. It's just Wolfpack and Danks left trying to stay alive. Wolfpack dropping low, but able to get away.
Yeah, Pika and Rift just so good at that. They see it all the time in their games. That EMP shatter is so powerful with the enemy with the higher team up too. It's so easy to get the cleanup kills and just end the fight.
And now Project Proteus, they don't have a lot of time left. Just a minute and 35 seconds left. There's a hammer down, but it goes straight into the shield. Thanks to the Transcendence, thinking that maybe they're going to be pushing forward there, but it's not enough. And now the Graviton Surge, they won't have that protection. And there is an absolutely just huge combo from Void. They're using everything they got. Maybe the Riptire was a little bit excessive. Wolfpack is the last one alive.
Yeah, it looks like Pika has adjusted to Damien's sort of play style. It was getting him a little bit on defense, but on attack, Pika just has this in the bag right now. Also with Rift, having these huge EMPs and huge hacks is really helping Pika out. But this Ryan v Ryan battle is not going well right now for Damien.
There is a Graviton Surge, but it seems like Void able to get a lot of healing out. Now, Pika has fallen, especially when using the ultimate. That's pretty big. And in return, Earthshatter catches two. Nano boosted. Damon's ready to push forward, and they look like they're going to be taking this point and able to push that payload forward.
Yeah, talk about a cast a curse. The second I say that, Damien, huge plays, beating out the Rhine, killing Pika mid-ult. So Pika no longer has his ult. Damien's actually going to beat him for all charge using his to get 2 kills, finish off that fight. Great play out of Project Proteus.
Now, keeping up the aggression, pushing forward and trying to take fights forward, not on the point. Damon does fall to Rift, though, in that backline. Can't use the shield to protect him from that. And now, the rest of Project Proteus, they're now playing around this payload. They're trying to substitute the payload as a shield. Use that barrier, use that mobile cover. But keeping pretty far back as they're waiting for their main tank to be back. Looks like they are. And with Tribalize down, that is a little bit of healing missing from Void. Wanting to take this opportunity, Project Proteus is starting to push forward a little bit and ready to take the fight. That is a pretty good fire strike to get quite a bit of charge. Damon sitting at 93%. Going to be having that up pretty soon. Is nano boosted and going to be using this Transcendence to push forward. Even trying to find an opportunity to hammer down Dusk because it doesn't look like it catches anybody. And there is the Riptire. It gets 4. And Tribalize taking out Damon afterwards. That was a turnaround.
Yeah, just another great combo right there. If it's not Pika right, then you see Sozin and Baleful using their 2 ultimates as a huge combo. Quad kill. Probably going to be play of the game for Sozin right there. Obviously, Project Proteus uses a regroup, try to gather up this Sniv and Helix Snake ult, try to maybe use those as succession without the defensive ult to stop it. We'll see if they can get the kills with it.
Now, there is a lot of ultimates for Void here. They're sitting on 3 right now, ready to put out a lot of hurt. And there is the EMP. He catches literally everyone on Project Proteus. They can't do anything, and they are getting taken out one by one, pushed away. The only one left is Helix Snake, who just wasn't with the team at the time, able to stay away.
Yeah, again, Void, just another good wombo combo for their ults. Did a great job, but the only takeaway right here is Project Proteus definitely has the ult advantage now with nothing on the side of Void to stop their combo of their own. So we'll see if they can get in quickly and maybe use it and win this fight, really.
And Helix Snake did get caught out there by Rift. Great scouting there, able to catch him out, get the hack off, and able to let the team get the kill. Now Helix Snake doesn't have that height advantage, doesn't have that surprise. That death loss can be huge in that sense. And now it's time for a fight. Hammers are swinging, and it's time for a kill there. Damon does fall, but a Graviton Surge may be exactly what they need. Able to get 3 kills with Helix Snake with a great Death Blossom. Looks like that could be the point.
Great job. They did exactly what they needed to do. Took advantage of the fact that the enemy team had no defensive ults on play. They knew the Tribalize ult wasn't up yet. Great job there by Helix Snake, getting in there, trying to get behind the Rhine shield before he uses ult, before it had O.C.C.
And just as overtime starts, able to get on the point. Now, Damon wanting to take this corner. There isn't a lot of time, but they do have an opportunity to win this map right here and start possibly a reverse. Damon keeping the aggression while Nana was able to get Wolfpack that double kill with the high noon, and that is a lot of ground opened up for them.
You see Damien with his ult. If he's able to connect on this ult, they can get this. All they need is one good fight right here, I think, to get the rest of the way. They are going to be able to contest, I think, Void is, but it's going to be super close.
Damon is keeping the aggression up. The hammer down doesn't seem to catch anybody, and the Riptire didn't seem to get anybody either. And there is Danks with the aggression right on the front with the Transcendence, but not able to keep the team alive afterwards inside of the Graviton Surge. They all fall, and it's just 30 seconds left.
Oh shoot, I wish Danks and Damien maybe should have realized they did have another fight left. They can get back and pay. They have 30 seconds left to get back. But nonetheless, Helix Snake ult might be up in mid-fight if they can get the fight going on long enough. And Void definitely used all their ults right there to try to save it.
This very well could be the last fight. Damon trying to keep that shield up and protect, but you can't keep it up long against all those Junkrat grenades, putting out so much damage, trying to get onto this corner. Riz on the high ground, trying to get a good hack up, does catch Damon, but Damon is nano boosted, able to put out a ton of damage. He's going to be using abilities anyway, just going to be swinging away, getting booped onto that back line and taking out Helix Cat. Seems like Projekt Proteus is able to win this fight, pushing forward. Rith gets taken out, cannot contest the point. It's tribalized, but you can't evade the Death Blossom, and that is it. Projekt Proteus wins King's Row.
That was a just amazing play right there. You saw Danks again with, I think, 3 final blows in that fight, just going off on the Zenyatta. I can't stop watching this play. Really doing well, taking advantage of the enemy out of position right there, killing the Lucio to start the huge job, Projekt Proteus.
That hammer down came just up to the corner, to Sozin's toes, just barely not getting hit by that. Great positioning, able to get that Riptire off and do a lot of work.
Yeah, Damien definitely playing a very aggressive Reinhardt, but taking advantage of having the Ana on the field, because a lot of nano boosts came in there to really get some kills, and Ana was doing a great job of waiting for the Rhine to be low on health, for the enemy team to have already used their abilities on him, and then nano boosting him to keep him alive and just get the quick damage.
So we are going to be going what could be the last match, but Projekt Proteus does have an opportunity to do the reverse sweep here right now. It is 2-1. And Projekt Proteus doing a great job defending against Void, making sure that they couldn't push it all the way. And that was a pretty good point to push to. They just were barely able to take each point, taking the first point with just about 30 seconds left, taking the second in overtime, and the very last push just came down to the seconds. Absolutely huge fights there, but we're going to have to see if they can keep it up for another 2 matches.
Obviously, they're going to need to win this next match to force the game 5, and it looks like we're going to be heading into Temple of Anubis, which is a very snowbally matchup, snowbally map. A lot of times, if the offensive comp is able to get the point quickly, they're able to get point B very quickly afterwards. So we'll see how it plays out. But a good hold can obviously last the entire game. You can set up the right way.
We are going to be going into Temple of Anubis now. This is a pretty fun point to fight on. The first map to actually ever be made for Overwatch. Fun little bit of trivia there. And, you know, a lot of people complain about 2CP, but I do like Temple of Anubis. There's a lot of interesting strategies that come out here.
Yeah, really cool map design, I think. Just the different paths you can take, the little bridge in the middle that it all meets up. A lot of fighting takes place on, or at least started the map. So a lot of different things you come out with, too. Also, a lot of different strategies as far as Symmetra, turrets, Bastion, Junkrat works very well. So see if they come back out with that. Junkrat, Sozin maybe the Junkrat.
and we are going to get to see what these compositions are going to be. Now, like I said, there's a lot of opportunity. You could run that Symmetra Bastion on defense, moving that Bastion around, able to put out a ton of damage. You can have, your Orisa. You get to see Orisa coming out here. So this is going to be what we're going to be getting on the defense. Looks like pretty standard for what we've been seeing so far. Casual OpSec on the Ana for a lot of healing. Thanks. Sticking on that Zenyatta, putting out a ton of healing with those Transcendences, doing great work. And looks like we are going to keep on seeing that Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper's an interesting choice here because it is a little bit difficult to get close to the enemy. A lot of times you're shooting them as they're going through chokes. Though if you can play around corners, obviously if they go around the right side and you sit in large health pack room, or you can just sit right outside of it, you can get close enough to do a lot of damage, maybe break their shield. And the enemy team Tribalize is playing Monkey, so it might work.
But it is going to be hard to close the distance on that Far Mercy, sticking up in the skies for a lot of extra damage. Going to have to be relying on Wolfpack for that. Now the team falling back to the point. They want to make sure they're fighting there. They have to give ground to this Far Mercy. And it seems like the entire team of Void, except for those two, are getting up onto that high ground. Helix Snake trying to fly around and stay alive, is able to get back to the high ground and back to safety. Casual OpSec has fallen in the backline, but Tribalize has fallen as well. That is no main tank for the side of Void, and the res does go through, but is that enough? Seems like it could be Valifor putting on a ton of damage and is going to be able to take the point.
Yeah, great job on Void taking advantage of just grabbing high ground from the enemy team, using Tribalize to sort of jump down with his mobility. He can jump back up before he dies. Helix the Cat obviously able to res Tribalize when he did go down, unfortunately, but nonetheless, great job on Void of taking advantage of the terrain.
He contested the point straight away, has to fall back to the team though, and Void, they have to find an opportunity here to move forward with this composition. Looks like they're going to be heading right and then just leaping over that wall and straight onto the point. Vika was hit by that flashbang, but is able to stay alive. That small life frame able to get away, and now it's time to push forward. Tribalize taking a lot of damage, having to fall back and to get healed up. That Mercy can't put out a ton of healing though, but that ultimate is up, and there is Bob charging onto the point, ready to output some damage. But thanks to the Transcendence to keep everybody alive. Will that be what they need? Rith is sitting on the rocket barrage, waiting for the right moment, getting up behind the enemy team, using that jetpack. Is going to be using it right at them, and there it is. Not going to be able to get any kills except for Casual OpSec there. And now it's time for a fight on the point. Sniff in the back, trying to get away from the Diva. Cannot though. There's a Death Blossom eaten up by Diva and taken out. First tick down, and now Tribalize trying to get on top of Damon, who's taking a lot of damage. But an anti-nade means that Tribalize has to be careful, and Sozin is knocked out of the mech. Able to stay alive, though, for now. Might be able to get that mech back, outputting a lot of that little blaster damage on to David, who has fallen to Valifor, has outputting so much damage, especially with those Dynamite Rith trying to output the damage as well. Looks like we may be getting another ultimate soon from Valifor. Wolfpack using the high noon isn't able to get anybody, though. He got able to get away, get behind cover. Tribalize has fallen, but might just be brought back, is brought back by Helix the Cat, and there is a nuke. Will that be what they need? Sniff taken out. This is looking very good for Void. They are taking out Project Proteus one by one. We're now sitting on 2 ticks. This is it. A point B take on the first push.
Yeah, you see that snowball effect coming to just work really well for Void. Great job on Helix with the Mercy, keeping the team alive. Huge IQ play out of Danks when they did send in that first Bob. Danks was able to transcend it, recognizing the Bob was in a really bad spot for his team. There's really nothing they could take it out. So he just had to transcend his Rhine while his Rhine swung away at him, finally taking him out. But nonetheless, Helix with huge plays on the Mercy, just staying alive, able to juke that Reaper with his shift, res his Monkey, I believe, twice. So awesome play by Void, just really deserved that win, or at least deserved that take.
There was a lot of big plays there. We're going to have to see if Void will be able to keep it up, as now they're going to be defending against Project Proteus. And will they be able to keep keep that aggression down from Void. Keep it in check. Looks like Void is going to be running the same comp they did last time. Balfour was also able to put out a lot of damage on that Ashe, especially with that dynamite and the clean shots.
Yeah, Balfour is obviously very good in the Ashe. He did amazing on attack. We'll see how he does switches over to defense. It's a little bit different sniping on defense. You have a little less leeway. You can't die and respond as quickly. But nonetheless, Balfour has showed us today that he actually is a very good Ashe player. We'll see if he can keep it up. Helix the Snake, though, is going to be on Widow, so a little bit more of a contest. They stay on that for Balfour. We'll see how that battle works.
Helix Snake juking us out, playing the Hanzo instead, and it's time for the offense. Trying to find an opportunity. Pika definitely likes the boops there, saying that quite a bit, and now time for a little bit of a push from Projekt Proteus as they move into the small health pack room. Damon able to use that bubble to stay alive and put out a little bit of damage. Is going to be sitting on 20% charge, but all of Projekt Proteus is dropping pretty low. Helix Snake is going to be the first ball, followed up by Sniv. Pika being very aggressive there, able to get a third kill right at Lucio here. You love to see it. Projekt Proteus now kind of corralled into this small room. They don't want to be against a Pharah and a Ashe, able to put out a lot of AoE damage into a small area. But Damon, Nano Boots it, able to turn this around a little bit, take out Helix the Cat, and trying to connect onto Pika, but is able to get away. Sozin taking a little bit of a nap, is back. Not going to be knocked out of the mech quite yet. Is dropping pretty low, is knocked out now. Now Damon, they're securing this high ground, and now are going to be able to move forward onto the point. Pika though, trying to contest it, trying to stick around. They're able to use the sound barrier to stay alive a little bit longer and contest those. Waiting for the team, is not able to contest it long enough though, and does have to go back to the respawn screen. Tribalize doesn't want to give up this point though. On top of there with Helix the Cat, Pika is revived as well. Huge revives coming through this whole game, and there is a Transcendence. Danks trying to keep the team alive, able to take out Helix the Cat as well as two others. Tribalize falls as well. No main tank. Balfour trying to maybe get another kill, but is not able to contest the point any longer. Has to fall back.
Yeah, questionable uses of ults there out of Pika and use of Lurez out of Helix, but you see Helix actually switched over to the Morio, so maybe we're just going to switch characters, doesn't matter. It's going to be a quick take here, though, for Damien if he's able to hit this Earth Shatter real quick for their teams. Obviously, Nano Boost, a lot of damage are coming.
Damon right on that front line, but it's actually frozen by a surprise swap from Risk. Switching over to the Mei. Bob is out on the point, putting out a little bit of damage, does catch out Wolfpack, and Travelize trying to keep the aggression up, is able to get Sniv for the stagger.
Yeah, great switch out there by Rith, switching over to the Mei. I know he's very comfortable on the Mei role. Freezing that Damien right away before he can use ults, which they needed to do because the snowball was coming in effect. So now they're able to set up the defense a little bit more, take a breath, and see what they need to do to beat this Projekt Proteus up.
You have to make sure to break that push right at the beginning, or it's going to be very difficult for you to deal with that ult economy. Helix Snake up on the top is taken out by Tribalize and Balfour, and now they want to take this advantage, but right into the team. Tribalize is flashbanged and taken out. And now Projekt Proteus, they want to take this advantage. They want to push forward. The Coalescence does come through, but gets hammered down by Damon, using that ultimate very well, and there is a nuke for Insosa. Will it catch anybody? No, Damon is able to use his shield to keep everybody alive. Is taking a lot of CC from the freeze though, but the bubble is able to keep them alive, and there is the Nano Boost able to stay alive for a little bit longer, but more freezing on the point. Tribalize is able to use the Primal Rage as well to output quite a bit of damage and take out Damon as well, and that is a defense.
Yeah, Projekt Proteus is going to need to communicate with themselves to take out this Mei. This Mei is doing a very good job of staggering her abilities to stay alive, obviously, as what Mei's good at. So they just need to sort of focus her down when she has no wall and no ice block to heal herself. So just really focus the Mei down in the beginning of the fight. Besides that, Damien's doing a great job of taking out Tribalize. Tribalize, it's having difficulty jumping into its enemy team with so much CC in the field and so much damage so quickly.
And now has to be pretty careful. Looks like Project Proteus is going to be moving along the left side into the tunnel to try and get around the point. Wolfpack using the high noon to catch out Pika. Can't evade that for long. Now it's time for a little bit of a push onto the point. Rift has to be careful to use the ice block to stay alive and the wall to keep the team away from any damage, but it does not protect from the dragons, which has come through, but doesn't seem to get any kills. Bob is now sent in and is going to be outputting a lot of damage from that backline. Does take out Danks, and the rest of the team, they have to be careful as they fall back. Project Proteus, most of their main players have been taken down, and now the rest of them are falling as well. Damon and Helix Snake trying to fall back and stay alive. Does.
Yeah, great job by Rith right there on the May. I thought he was going to get caught out. It seemed like he was a little out of position, but as soon as he got out of his ice block, he was able to put a great wall up that actually walled off the Damien. You see Damien obviously still sitting on his ult. He needs to get his ult down or just trying to find the space to use that real quickly, get a quick kills. Obviously, Casual Spec has the nano to go in there with it, and I think they can get a quick kills if they use it fast, because they don't have many defenses to go against.
Damon trying to stay aggressive and up on the front. Danks has taken out Val of 4. That could be exactly what they need, but a nuke going onto the backline, going to be taking out Helix Snake, and a nano boost onto Wolfpack, able to put out a little bit of extra damage there, but has to be careful, has to fall back a little bit. No real shields to keep them alive, and the nano boost has worn off. Casual Optic tried to get onto the point in time to do a little bit of healing, but it is not enough. Just 2 minutes left.
Again, Project Proteus saving ults. They have the ult advantage, but right with a Rith with the May ult coming up. May ult is such a good one on defense to hold a point. It really stops them. They have to wait until the next push almost, or even just get out of the ult and wait for it to go down if they don't get caught. So we'll see if Rith can use it to their advantage and maybe stop the push with just one ult. So we do not have the advantage right now in that scenario.
And now Project Proteus, they want to push for Rith. She does now have an ultimate. Damon right in the front, the walled off from the team. Can't get any heals, does fall. Tribalize following up onto Sniv as well. It seems like Void is just absolutely crushing this defense. Pika read at Lucio into the backline, does get taken out, but it does not matter. The fight is already won.
Yeah, Pika all over the place with this Lucio, doing great job with the damage incoming. It's kind of hard to hit those. Obviously, as a projectile gun, so you got to sort of aim and lead your target a little bit. But Pika doing a great job getting the kills. Has obviously charged up its ult, which is going to be a huge play now if Damien isn't able to hit the Lucio with the Shatter. And Lucio can save his entire team. Made it a little bit harder by waiting this long to use ults on the side of Project Proteus.
And now Project Proteus seems like they're sticking with what they know, going into the hallways, trying to get onto the point. Tribalize has gone onto the backline a little bit, but is able to reposition back to the point, getting the heals. And there is the Coalescence. They're ready to take this aggression here. David not quite caught off by the wall. There's Transcendence, keep everybody alive through this blizzard, but it is going to be wearing off. And Danks is taken out, and it seems like Void is able to follow up on the rest of the team. 30 seconds left. It seems like Project Proteus will not be able to do it as Tribalize chases down Helix Snake, able to get the kill. I just don't think there isn't enough time to even get on the point.
Yeah, and you see Damien and Casual Spec and Helix also with their ults. I think they just need to be a little bit more aggressive and go in there and use their ults first. Try to get the enemy team down before the enemy team has a chance to use theirs. But you didn't see it come out, unfortunately. There, Damien finally used it, but a little too late, I think.
Sniv waiting until the last moment to get onto the point and contest it. Wolfpack tried to use the high noon, but was frozen right in the middle of it. And that, I don't think that will be enough for Project Proteus. The grab is out, and there are the dragons. Will it work? It takes out one, but the rest of Void are able to get out alive. It is just Danks left, and Danks has fallen. Overtime ticks down, and Void secures the day on the fourth map, 3-1.
Yeah, so close. I thought maybe those dragons were gonna get it for him because they did have enough caught in the gravitational, though they had enough healing to survive it. Great job out of Void. Great teamwork. Great use of ults. Well deserved.
And here we're seeing Rift doing great work and showing a little bit more of a hero pool today, right at the end, playing the May and the Pharah on the last match, doing great work there. And it's nice seeing something a little bit different. And overall, great plays from both sides, but Project Proteus just not quite able to get the team through.
Void continue their winning streak, heading into the playoffs, looking very hot. We'll see if they can continue this gameplay. Obviously, Titans still in their way, beat them last week. So that rivalry brews. And
of course, now it is the time to talk about the MVPs of the match. We've had a lot of really big plays with the EMPs. We've seen great works from Pika on Rhine and on DPS. A great nuke, or several great nukes from Sozin, and a pretty huge Riptire as well. But who do you think is the MVP of the match today?
Yeah, it's so hard because there were just so many players on Void that had good games. Like, at any point, one of them was carrying, it seemed like. Though my MVP actually has to go to Danks. Even though Project Proteus didn't win, it was just Danks was constantly doing stuff for his team, whether it was these amazing transcendences or these super clutch hits with his orbs. It's hard to hit a target with that right click, but Danks seemed to be doing it almost every fight. So I'm actually going to give MVP to Danks for just the overall 4 games in a row doing great.
And I am going to have to do that as well. Just keeping up a very consistent job on the Zenyatta and seem to actually get better throughout the day as well. Absolutely huge ultimates to keep the team alive and able to hold that backline all by themselves to make sure that there wasn't a lot of flanking going on, because you ended up getting hit in the head with one of those orbs. So thank you all very much for watching. It's time for our sign off. If you guys want to join the Discord, check out the area below the stream. You can find the link there. You can join as a community member or as a team member. If you're silver through diamond, we may just have a team for you. And if you're above that master, grandmaster, or even top 500, then you can apply to be one of our coaches and get one of these teams up to snuff, or start your own. Also, we're always looking for more people for our stream team, whether that's commentating, hosting the game, or running the stream. Also, we do have social medias for you guys to follow. We're on Facebook, obviously, Overwatch Cavalry Club. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at O.C.C Scrims. And I don't think we have anything left, do we, Cal?
I think that's it, man.
Alrighty, thank you all very much for watching. I've been the Litzy, joined by Cal. See you next time.